Hey, Viking fans, what are the Minnesota Vikings going to do with Danielle Hunter? Let's talk about that next in 3, 2, 1. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you hit subscribe, leave a comment. Get me to 50 likes. That helps the video so much. If you just get me to 50 likes, it takes care of itself. Let's go. Let's go. Minnesota Vikings are in a predicament. Danielle Hunter is not going to report for a mandatory minicamp. He's a holdout. And I did a video already and didn't get many views, but I'm going to repeat it here in case you're listening to me talk about it for the first time. It's come to my attention that at best, or in this case, at worst for the Minnesota Vikings, or at best for the Minnesota Vikings, Danielle Hunter is playing hardball. That's at best case scenario right now. I'm going to leave it at that. It has come to my attention through some channels that at best, Danielle Hunter. I know you're going to say, what does a YouTuber know? Well, be surprised that people like to disseminate information and they'll use people. So I am having an open mind, and maybe Danielle Hunter is playing hardball, but the language used, it was not good. And at best for the Minnesota Vikings, he's playing hardball. Could this be repaired? Money solves a lot of problems. Danielle wants it. Vikings got it. But will they commit to Danielle Hunter enough money and enough long term to keep him happy? We haven't done it so far. Is Danielle Hunter going to be the first guy we do it for? I don't know. I don't think so. And that's why I'm leaning that he is on the move. We're going to trade him as hopefully. Now, I'm on record saying I don't want anything less than a first round pick for this guy. I want Danielle Hunter to stay. I am on record saying Danielle Hunter, we need him, especially after we lose Darius Smith, that we need another edge rusher. Davenport's coming in, not necessarily as proven as Danielle Hunter. We know Danielle Hunter is one of the best in the game. He could play anywhere on that D line. He's being misused as an outside linebacker last year. Danielle Hunter needs to stay. Kwesi needs to turn the situation around to make me happy. But if we don't keep him, I need a good enough return to make me feel comfortable having to face this guy eventually. But let's talk about it. I am, I guess, famous, or I don't know, for doing reaction videos. Infamous. That's the word I was looking for. Infamous of doing reaction videos to articles I haven't read before. And I seen the headline and I wanted to read it along with you and get my reaction. I think that's fun that way. You're getting my raw input to the situation. And in this case, we're talking about Bleacher Report, top NFL trade packages for Danielle Hunter amid Vikings minicamp holdout. It's by Gary Davenport. Today it came out. There he is. Danielle Hunter. Man, what could have been, man. This guy was a surefire Hall of Famer. Still has the potential. But the season and a half of being injured, and then last year didn't help a whole lot. He was the fastest guy to 50 sacks. Young guy coming into the league. Now he's going to be in his 29th season, 29-year-old season. So let's get into it. Again, top NFL trade packages for Danielle Hunter amid Vikings minicamp holdouts. Let's get started. It's not often the NFL team that won 13 games the year before goes into rebuild mode. The Minnesota Vikings appear to straddling the fence. We're rebuilding the defense. We don't need to rebuild the offense whatsoever, but I get their point. Edge rusher Darius Smith was traded. Running back Dalvin Cook was released, and now another defensive star could be on the move as edge rusher Danielle Hunter enters the last season of a 5-year, $72 million contract What a deal. He wants a new deal. The Vikings aren't in any hurry to give him up or give him one. That has led to the reports that he will skip mandatory minicamp and others that more than one team has called Minnesota about trading the 3-time Pro Bowler. Is that all he's gotten? I guess because of injuries in last year, he didn't get Pro Bowl. But Hunter won't come cheap per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. The Vikings would rather not trade their best edge rusher, and unless the price is right. But just the possibility of obtaining an impact edge rusher has more than a few teams wondering what they would be willing to give up for the 8th-year veteran. For these teams, it's a move that could be well worth the price. Starting off with the Kansas City Chiefs. They give 6 here, but they will go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Minnesota Vikings. This is a trade package, they say. I think these are conservative, honestly. I do. I think this is bottom. This is the floor. If there are people bidding on him, we will get better than these, I think. Minnesota Vikings receive a 2024 round 2 pick and a 2025 round 5 pick. Chiefs would get Danielle Hunter and 2024 round 6 round pick. So a 2nd and a 5th, we give up Danielle and a 6th. I don't think we'd have to give up a pick in that scenario. Honestly, first rounder on that situation. Goes as mentioned, ESPN Jeremy Fowler indicates that the Vikings don't really want to trade Hunter. He also said Minnesota's asking price would be steep, possibly a 2nd round pick and additional compensation. Now, I could see it if we were getting a player that would help us, but what would help us would be a defensive lineman, and we're getting rid of one. And if a team's getting one, would they trade one back? That's a steep price, especially when you consider that teams looking for edge help could just sign Yannick Ngakoue. He has no Danielle Hunter off the open market without giving up anything. However, Hunter is on a different level of talent-wise than Ngakoue. Agreed. And it's possible a few teams could be willing to pony up a 2nd rounder if they genuinely believe Hunter could help them win a Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs just won their 2nd in 3 years, but while the team is promising 2nd-year pass rusher in George Karlaftis and spent a 1st rounder on Felix Nduki Musuma, the addition of Hunter would be major upgrade at premium position, an upgrade worth a draft pick that will probably be outside the top 60 in 2024. Another reason why not to trade with Kansas City is that is not as valuable a pick. Defensive line of Hunter Karlaftis and Chris Jones and Derek Nandi would be among the most formidable in the NFL, and the Chiefs would be one step closer to cementing their status as the league's latest dynasty. I don't like this one. No. And if these are all going to be 2nd round picks, I don't even want to read it. But here, Baltimore Ravens, this would be a team. Minnesota Vikings, 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick. So ups the ante a little bit. Baltimore Ravens would receive Danielle Hunter and a 6th round pick. I don't see why we'd have to give up a 6. Okay, so maybe there are 2 playoff teams from last year that could be willing to pony up a day 2 pick plus in a Danielle Hunter trade. Unlike the Chiefs, the Ravens aren't the favorites in the AFC. As a matter of fact, they aren't the favorites in their own division. And while they were a respectable 6th in the league in sacks in 2022, the team has also suffered substantial turnover on the edge. 2 of the team's top 3 performers from a year ago in terms of sacks, Justin Houston and Calais Campbell, are gone. Tyus Bowser missed almost half of last season. Odafe Owe was a major disappointment last season, and David Ojabu is a complete wild card after barely playing as a rookie. The Ravens need a cornerstone edge rusher, a player who can help serve as a foundational piece on the defense. Over the past 4 seasons, Hunter has tallied at least 65 tackles and posted at least 10 sacks 3 times. He'd be another major addition for a team that has already been aggressive this offseason. And in theory, if it helps get the deal done, the Ravens could dangle Owe Ojabo as part of the deal. And with $11.5 million in cap space, Baltimore could extend Hunter with a deal that carries a light year 1 cap hit. All right, so moving the needle a little bit with Baltimore, still not good. Still not good enough. San Francisco 49ers. Oh, goodness. Minnesota Vikings receive a round 4 pick and Trey Lance. San Francisco 49ers receive edge Danielle Hunter. So we were basically trading Danielle Hunter for a 4th round pick here. That's the way I feel about it. I am interested in Trey Lance, but a 4th round pick for Danielle Hunter. I'm gonna read it. Okay, we might as well make this interesting. The San Francisco 49ers made it within a game of the Super Bowl again last year, but Trey Lance had little to do with that success. In fact, the prevailing opinion appears to be that once Brock Purdy's elbow is healthy, he'll again start for the Niners. And Lance, the player the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks to obtain in 2021, will be NFL's most expensive in terms of a draft capital clipboard holder. Given the reality, Kyle Madsen of the Niners Wire believes that theoretically, at least San Francisco might consider upgrading the pass rush and throwing in the towel on Lance. If San Francisco coaching staff and front office have truly seen enough of Lance to believe he won't be the starter at any point, he said, then it's easy for them to prioritizing the pass rush, making that move and relying on Sam and Allen, Purdy, Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen trio to get them through the season. It'd be pretty significant risk, but the 49ers have made it clear how valuable they think game-wrecking pass rushers are. An extension for Hunter would be tricky for the 49ers, who still have to extend Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk, but tricky isn't impossible. In pairing Hunter and Bosa outside and Hargrave and Arik Armstead inside would be terrifying front four. Assuming Kevin O'Connell believes he can turn Lance around, a Vikings team that appears to be rebuilding on the fly could get a successor to Kirk Cousins, will be a free agent in 2024, a successor under team control through 2026 as unreasonable for a quarterback salary. Yeah. Not a fan of this one. Now, if you upped it to, for sure, a first rounder, but a second rounder and Lance, maybe I'm willing to roll a dice on him being a long-term quarterback solution. Maybe. But hey, he's getting close to the end of his contract. And we get a 4th round pick, maybe a second, I'm willing to risk it. But I don't like either. But hey, I'm not a big fan of Trey Lance. I really was hoping for him, but I've never been high on him. At least first round potential high on him. Now, Minnesota Vikings receive. Now this is Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, let's hear it. Minnesota Vikings receive 2024 conditional pick edge Clavon Chason. I don't know much about him. Help me in the comment section. Tell me more about Clavon Chason. Now, conditional pick. I don't know. Jaguars would receive 7th round pick and Hunter. Don't know why we'd have to give up a pick. Don't know why. But I don't know. We need someone in return. If he's any good, then great. But I don't know. Per Kyle Bumpers of Jaguars Wire, Jacksonville outside linebacker coach Bill Shuey believes big things should be in store for edge rusher Clavon Chason in 2023. When he is healthy, oh great. When he is healthy, I see some good things. Okay, this is not selling. I'm not sold on this one. He's one of the hardest working guys out there. So Clavon has put that time in, and it's been quality time. And you see it in his movement. Now it's a matter of bringing it all together, make sure he's healthy, so he's peaking at the right time. However, Jacksonville's actions speak louder than Shuey's words. And after 3 sacks in as many years, it's hardly surprising the Jags pass on Chason's 5th-year option. They pass on his 5th-year option. With former number 1 overall pick Trayvon Walker spending more time with the defensive line and OTAs, it appears he could spend more of his second season with his hand in the dirt. That opens a hole on the edge opposite Josh Allen, and Chason ain't the guy to fill it. The Jaguars entered 2023 in genuine aspirations of making noise in the playoffs, and Hunter could be a massive upgrade for defense that ranked 24th in the league a season ago. And adding Chason to a package that includes day 2 pick, depending on which selection the Jags lose in Calvin Ridley trade, might just tempt the totally not rebuilding Vikings, who totally are into making a move. Perhaps a change of scenery will start Chason's career. This is a no-go for me. Broncos. Now, another thing, Trading with the 49ers and making them even better, not high on my list. Now, going to Jaguars, or in this case, going to the Broncos, even though we play them, I'm okay. Going to the AFC. I don't care if we're making the AFC better. I need us to get through the NFC to the playoffs. Minnesota Vikings received 2024 third-round pick and edge Baron Browning. Again, in the comment section, tell me about Baron Browning. Denver Broncos receive edge Danielle Hunter. This one, we don't give up a pick, so they're making more sense now. You know, two things about the Denver Broncos. The first is that they aren't exactly flush with draft capital. The trades are quarterback Russell Wilson and head coach Sean Payton rather raided the cupboard. The second thing is we know that Denver wants to win now. You don't mortgage the future for a quarterback, then trade for a head coach. You then pay $18 million per season because you intended to go the slow and steady route. The Broncos recently added veteran edge rusher Frank Clark. I kind of wanted him. And spent big on Randy Gregory a year ago, but Clark hasn't amassed more than 6 sacks in the season since 2019. And Gregory's first year in a mile-high city was injury-marred mess. As a team, the Broncos mustered 36 sacks in 2022, 10 fewest in the league. The Broncos have shown the willingness to be aggressive, and the need for a pass rusher is there. What isn't a second-round pick in 2024? However, the Broncos have a selection in round 3, so they don't have a second-round pick. However, the Broncos have a selection in round 3, and the team could sweeten the pot with additional edge rusher Brian Browning. The 24-year-old is recovering from a knee injury, but he posted 5 sacks a year ago, less than 600 snaps, and still has 2 seasons left on his rookie deal. All right, so there's potential there. Not happy with that. What was it again? We'd get 3rd pick and Baron Browning. I don't see Denver giving up. They don't have a second, and they're going to not have a 3rd. I don't see that happening. I don't see it. I don't think Denver's a trade partner, honestly. And if they gave up a 1st round, then they don't have a 1st and a 2nd. Don't make any sense. Here's one with the Jets. All right, Minnesota Vikings 2024 round 3 pick, 24 round 4 pick, and 2025 5th round pick for edge Danielle Hunter. Intriguing. Move that up to a 2nd round pick, and you may have me. I like them. I like the amount of picks. I do. Edge Danielle Hunter, the Jets would get. We would get 3 picks: 2 in 2024, a 3rd and a 4th, and then a 5th round pick 2025. That is not it's not there yet. If it was a 1st and a 4th in 2024, I would do it. If it's a 2nd, 4th, and then a 5th, you're close, but not a 3rd. Okay. So New York Jets edge Danielle Hunter. So the New York Jets have been rather aggressive this offseason. The acquisition of Aaron Rodgers indicates that they're tired of being a tomato can. This is a team that wants to compete in the AFC in 2023. And Tyler Forness of Vikings Wire, so they're getting some good sources here, honestly. Thinks that emphasis on winning could lead Gangrene to make another big deal with the NFC North team. The Jets are priming to make a Super Bowl run with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, among others. One thing they haven't had since the departure of John Abraham is a star at edge rusher. They drafted Will McDonald in the 15th overall to help that, but adding Hunter in a 4-3 would be a huge addition next to Quinnen Williams. Yes, it would. The Jets also have veteran Carl Lawson and John Franklin Myers and 2nd-year pro Jermaine Johnson on the roster, but Lawson has been a massive bust and is in the last year of his contract. And Johnson was okay at best and limited with time as a rookie. Thanks to the condition of Rodgers' trade, the Jets can't offer the Vikings a 2nd rounder. It sucks in 2024, but the team is a pair of 4th rounders this year. Using at least one or even both of those picks along with the 3rd rounder could tempt the Vikings enough to get a deal done. There's something. You get the 3rd and 2 fourths this year in 2024. That's intriguing because, guys, if we're going to lose Danielle Hunter and we get a 3rd and 2 fourths, you throw the 2 5ths in there that we got coming, and we got our 1st and 2nd. We'd have a 1st, a 2nd, 2 3rds, 2 4ths, and two fists, that is a potentially a very good draft and could fill a lot of needs, or the quarterback route. So honestly, the Jets is out of all these picks, Jets seem a little more to make sense. I do not want to trade with San Francisco at all. Kansas City, don't see it happening because of their trade draft picks. Baltimore, I don't think is there yet. I don't think they think they're there yet. Jaguars, I wouldn't mind him getting rid of him going to the Jaguars, but I don't like the trade situation. I don't mind him going to Denver, and I don't mind him going to the Jets. The Jets do make sense. It makes sense, but they don't have a second round pick. And if I'm going to get a third and 2 fourths from them, and they throw in a fifth the next year, that's a lot of picks, guys. You almost can't pass that up. But I am holding out for a first rounder as best I can. I think we can bid people up to that, even if it's just a first rounder. But honestly, he's worth more than that. Think of what we gave up for Jared Allen. He's still in the prime of his career. You're going to get 3-4 great years out of him left. And if you can sign him to a contract and we make the trade, there you go. If he's willing to go to that team, and that means we can get better draft compensation, honestly. So if he's willing to go, we could get better draft compensation. Right now, I am reporting that Danielle Hunter at best is making hardball with the Vikings. Hopefully, Kwesi can turn it around. If not, that was the solutions Bleacher report put out there. Skull Vikings. Make sure you give me a 50 likes below. I appreciate it if you like these kind of videos. Those are the kind of videos I do. Skull Vikings. See you next time. Cue the music.